Got another Tzeentch Tomb Kings matchup here. Tomb Kings super popular right now. Don't really know why. I mean, they're like a fine faction. Sorry, this is from Brutus and Karasi, before I forget to announce that. Anyway, Tomb Kings are just super popular right now. Probably the most played faction that I've seen in my tournaments and events and stuff. But they didn't get any buffs or anything, and their win rate is about 50-50. So, I don't know why they're all of a sudden back, but I've also been playing them and enjoying them. We also have Tzeentch here. No Kairos Fate Weaver still. We removed him from our events until he gets some nerfs or something. So, Tzeentch is once again interesting as we see what people try and make work. The Demon Prince of Tzeentch, this is still not a very common pick. He has only Blue Fire with him. And that's about it for his abilities. So he's just kind of like a moderate melee character and a caster. I wonder how expensive he is. 2 Chaos Knights of Tzeentch in the trees, and then a front line of Chaos Warriors, some with halberds, some with swords. And then we have 3 Horrors, one of which is Sour Guts, one's the Chromatic Abominations, then a regular pink. For the Tomb Kings, we have Skeleton Horsemen, 3 of them, 2 Skeleton Chariots, a front line of Melee Ushapti, Arkin the Black on his chariot, with Spirit Leech and his Skeleton Summon, and then a bunch of Skeleton Warriors, Nehekara Warriors, and some Tomb Guard in the form of the Kepler Guard. They also have a Sepulchral Stalker in the trees. Oh, and there's 2 Screamers of Tzeentch in the flank. Alright, everybody's flanking everybody else. So, the Skeleton Horsemen diving in onto the Chromatic Abominations, they will not do a lot of damage here. They're kind of a weird chaff horse unit. I generally think they're quite terrible, but they could rout off regular archers, but pink and blue horrors are not archers. They're hybrid melee combatants, so they can actually swing back pretty fiercely. Chariots will do a little bit more if they're not caught up in Chaos Knights, though it appears some of them are just that, caught up in Chaos Knights. Pink Horror is still trying to fire. I will say the front line of Tzeentch is way outclassed. Nehekara Warriors paired up with Melee Ushapti and then Arkin rolling around as support is just a terrible time, even for Chaos Warriors. They can't withstand that. So as long as the Skeleton Horsemen and the Skeleton Chariots disrupt the backline for a bit, that's enough. As we can see, Skeleton Warriors are already starting to bleed through the front line. Some are summons, but some are natural. And they're just harassing these guys back, pushing them away, while the front line of the Tomb Kings gets more important work done. Screamers dive out of the Eyes of the Desert and try and do damage to them, but the Eyes of the Desert are more than up to the challenge, killing off the Screamers in the blink of an eye. The other Screamer is trying to snipe out Arkin and getting some decent damage, but they are going to lose their lives in return, so is it worth it? Tzeentch is currently up on the balance of power. We'll see how long that trend holds. As Arkin's summon has faded away, Chariots take their place and just stopping the Chromatic Abominations from firing. Demon Prince of Tzeentch using Blue Fire, and it misses Arkin like entirely. Blue Fire, still a good spell, but not feeling nearly as potent after its nerfs in the last patch. That were the homing projectile changes that supposedly made it more accurate. They've either made it less accurate against single entities sometimes, or so accurate that they don't like go down an entire unit and kill the whole unit anymore. It'll hit like 1 unit. So Blue Fire in a much healthier place. Still a strong spell. Still a very strong spell. Undercast for only 6 Winds of Magic, and it does a lot of damage and applies a Warp Flame debuff. It's a very, very good spell. It's just not as god tier as it used to be. The front line of Chaos is falling apart. Some halberds had to get pulled up as a pseudo front line, but now the back line is under harassment from this, bleed over of Skeleton Warriors and Kepler Guard and stuff. And the Demon Prince of Tzeentch is really trying to take out Arkin, trying to turn this around, but the free Ushapti summon of the Tomb Kings is going to land in the Chromatic Abominations. Meanwhile, the regular Ushapti have caught up to the Sour Guts, and the other pink horrors are once again attacked by Skeleton Horsemen. But, a shit ton of Rainbow Fire hits the Arkin the Black, and he is going to start crumbling, maybe even disintegrating as his leadership dips briefly down to negative 55. For Tzeentch, they still have 2 healthy Knights, a healthy Demon Prince of Tzeentch, and that is about it, though that's where their bounce of power is coming from. I did forget, honestly, about both of the Knights. Unfortunately for the Tomb Kings, a disaster is happening over here as the Eyes of the Desert get caught by the Halberds just due to their micro being elsewhere. Arkin is dead, Sepulchral Stalkers look like they're going to be dead or just crumble to nothingness. And even if the Tomb Kings shut down all of the range, I do think 2 Knights and a Demon Prince of Tzeentch is going to be brutal for them to deal with in the late game. Because melee infantry can get cycle charged almost infinitely to death as they take a big chunk of damage there. Some of their skeletons are already fading away. Pink Horror's Demonic Instability crumbling does hit them, so they'll get deleted entirely. Sepulchral Stalkers are just about dead. And it's looking like a tough time for the Tomb Kings. Even though they have so much of their army left, it is so much chaff. Chromatic Abominations, leadership randomly gets low, and if they start Demonic Instability crumbling, it just keeps getting worse for them, as now they have faded away entirely of their own volition, it seems. And a blue fire will finish off the Sporkle Stalkers, who are just trying to shoot at some Chaos Warriors for a brief moment. Sourgut's also getting chased down by the hordes of undead. And these Nekar Warriors over here fighting Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch. Sporkle Stalkers offer one last volley of support before dying off. Demon Prince of Tzeentch will see to that. Bounce power shifts pretty heavily in the favor of Tzeentch. Nekar Warriors will finish off the Halberds, soon get charged into oblivion by those Chaos Knights. Other Shopti fighting back against the Chaos Knights, but Brutus has the advantage of still having a Lord, still having magic, but also having mobility access. It's just so huge in the current meta. It's very hard to win off of just infantry in the late game. The Sourguts are eliminated. There's a big old blob fight over here as Chaos Warriors and the Demon Prince of Tzeentch take on all these Skeleton Warriors. The last couple of Shopti are diving in. They get good damage onto the Chaos Knights, but it's the wounded Chaos Knight. The full health one's still over here. More blue fires getting cast, just giving these guys a little bit of a debuff. And Chaos Knights continue to charge in with the support of the Demon Prince. And they just can't do it. You can't resist so many Knights. As everybody starts fading, the Kepler Guard will be the last men standing. But that is that. GG from Brutus and the Demon Prince. Only 1400 value on him. Knights did amazingly. The Horrors did fine. Chaos Warrior frontline held. The Arkan snipe was pretty huge. Arkan on his chariot, for some reason, feels a lot more snipeable than on his horse. Skeleton chariots didn't have a lot to do. They didn't have marauders to sweep through anything. Everything was heavy metal or demonic. Nekar Warriors did well. Skeleton Horsemen did okay. GG.
Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.